Hello? Hello. As promised in my last video, today I'm going to be walking you through the removal process of my old set when I have on a peel-off base coat. It's like 100 times easier than just regular base gel. The first thing that I like to do is to file the sides of my nails to kind of break the seal a little bit, especially around the tip where I capped my free edge. Then I soak my cuticles and underneath my nails with a little bit of cuticle oil, and I let that sit for a few minutes. In the meantime, I boiled some hot water and let it cool down a little bit before transferring it into my soaking tray with a little bit of hand soap. And to that, I'll be adding a few drops of jojoba oil. Any oil will do. Sometimes I use rose hip, sometimes I use sweet almond oil, whatever you have on hand. You could even use olive oil. I place my hand in the warm water and let it rest for about 5 to 10 minutes while I'm watching a show. Using various tools, I test out how loose each nail is. If it's fairly loose, I apply a bit more pressure and it'll pop off. And if it gives me a bit too much resistance, I soak for a little bit longer and then try again. A couple of my nails were halfway there, but the tips were just a bit stubborn, so I poured a few drops of the jojoba oil in the gap between my nails and the gel to kind of help loosen up the rest of the peel-off base, and eventually they popped off nice and clean. I then gently peeled off the remaining peel-off base coat and moved on to buffing. I'm buffing the surface of my nails to remove any stubborn little bits of product, and I remove the excess dust with a little bit of alcohol on a lint-free wipe. As you can see, my natural nails are in excellent condition, so if you've been on the fence about using a peel-off base coat, I would highly recommend it. This nail look stayed on for almost 3 weeks with no lifting, and the removal process didn't damage my natural nails one bit. I really like using peel-off base coat, especially when I'm working with my natural nails. Although my nails and length look fantastic, I'm kind of over long nails right now, so I'm gonna have to break some hearts and give them a little trim. I want to go for a square look today, so I'm filing and shaping using a 180 grit file, and then I move on to cuticle cleanup. I'm applying a bit of blue cross cuticle remover to the skin around my nails. I let it sit for a moment and then I scrape the dead skin around my nails with a wood stick and push back my cuticles with a cuticle pusher. I'm wiping the mush with a little bit of alcohol and brushing off any excess before moving on to gently trimming the dead hangy stuff left behind with my cuticle nippers. Looking good. Now it's time to prep my nails for gel polish. I'm lightly roughing up the surface of my nails using a 180 grit file. I do this when I really want to ensure that my gel polish lasts up to 4 weeks. And then I wipe off any excess oils and residue using my CND nail surface cleanser and a lint-free wipe. These are my go-to prep products. It seems kind of redundant to use the dehydrator after just using my nail surface cleanser, but I'm going to do it anyway, followed by my acid-free primer. As always, I'm using my nail rods to flash cure my base to ensure that the corners of my nails don't curl inward during the curing process. They have a tendency to do this, especially when my nails are square, and the nail rods are just my little secret to prevent that from happening. So I apply a thin layer of my base coat, I apply the rod under my nail, flash cure, and move on to the next, and I will give my nails a full 45-second cure once I'm done flash curing each nail. Do you see how square the nails stay after flash curing with the nail rod? Truly a game changer. I want to do some nail art today, so I'm applying a pretty base shade to start. This is Cotton Angel by Bio Seaweed Gel, one of my favorite shades. It's got that same sheer, cool-toned, milky pink vibe that I always gravitate towards. I applied one coat, and then I wiped off the inhibition layer and did a bit more filing and sharpening up the sides of my nails, and then I went in with a second coat, and then a third coat. My nails looked so nice here that I was kind of tempted to just call it a day and finish off with top coat, but I had already done my right hand and wanted matching nails on both hands for once. I literally never have matching nails because I'm always trying out different products. Today I will be using some blooming gel, dotting tools, and a nail art brush. I'll also be using 2 different gel polish kits by the Beetles brand. I will list the exact kits in my description box. I'm transferring a couple drops of each shade onto my nail art palette and wiping the inhibition layer off of my nails before I apply my blooming gel. In case you're new to blooming gel, you can use it in so many different ways, but one thing you can do with it is create a really easy aura effect. Anything that you apply on top of blooming gel, as the name states, blooms outward. So I'm applying a thin coat of it. I do not cure this, and then I pick up a little bit of colored gel polish. I dot it in the center of my nail, and I allow the blooming gel to work its magic. As you can see, it's blooming outward. The center is more opaque, the edges are more gradient, and that is exactly what we're going for. Sometimes I apply just a little bit more colored gel polish to the center to kind of encourage it to bloom further to create a larger aura effect. Sometimes the blooming effect takes a bit longer, sometimes it's instantaneous. So I like to have my mini LED light ready to go so I can quickly flash cure when I'm happy with the shape. And then I follow that up with a full 45-second cure before applying my second coat of blooming gel. This time I'm dotting a bit of neon green gel polish in the center of my nail, and I'm not allowing it to bloom as much. So I'm quickly flash curing when I'm happy with the size of it, and then I do a full 45-second cure, and then I go in with a different color and just do a small dot in the center, no blooming gel this time. I flash cure and I move on to my next nail. Some of the shades that I used were not as opaque as others, so they require to be dotted twice to reach the color saturation that I was going for. I like to alternate between the dotting tool and the brush depending on the opacity of the colored gel polish that I'm working with. I can't explain it, but they do kind of give a different effect. This technique is a really easy, fun, beginner-friendly way to do nail art and incorporate a bit of color into your nail look. The color combinations with this are endless. I'll probably end up doing this again in the summertime, and I kind of want to try to do it on my toes, although my toenails are like way smaller, so I don't know how that's gonna work. I don't know what happened to the rest of the footage of my index finger, but worry not, because I ended up being nitpicky about it and redoing it later on. Same with my pinky finger, I was a little indecisive on the color combination. So because the center of my nail naturally has a bit more bulk from all the color gel polish layered on top of one another, I'm gonna finish the look off with a little bit of rubber top coat. It's slightly thicker than a regular top coat, and it will help to even out the nail a little bit, fill in spots that kind of have a dip to them, and just overall make everything look better. I also use a nail art brush to make sure the rubber top covers the sides of my nails, and I also use it to cap my free edges. Lastly, I finish off with a little bit of cuticle oil, and I wanted to include some footage of my nails almost 4 weeks later to showcase that if you follow my prep process, your manicures should last this long. Look at that retention and look at that growth. Anyway, that concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps me out because YouTube has pretty much stopped notifying my subscribers that I still exist. I'll probably start a second channel just to mess around with the algorithm. Anyway, everything that I use will be listed in the description box below. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing and staying subscribed, and I'll see you in my next one. Okay, love you, bye.